Okay, we're going to begin. So Vav was explaining why. Good morning, guys. Why Aaron? Why the Bishop speaks to Moishe and Aaron? Because the whole kavanah here is to be mamshich Moishe Rabbeinu's darge as it is in its HACHODESH and HACHODESH, which is Natzilus HaKlolis, which is there itself, the two darges in Natzilus HaKlolis. Atik Da'ak rather. Atik Da'ak is Natzilus HaKlolis level 1. That's from Torah, and the Alter Rebbe, Natzilus HaKlolis is Eirin Sof Tifnei Atzinsum, which explains was his pashtus oir, and therefore ani al gabecha is etzem oir. At any rate, in order for this to, there's one mind left. I put it down somewhere. I made many copies. They all unfortunately were thrown out. You have it on your phone. You have it on your phone. So in order to be mamshich edafka through Adam, because every Hamshocha is through Tzimtzum and his pashtus. That's Yudke. And Moishe Rabbeinu, that is the level of Moishe Rabbeinu, Yud, Chochma, as we learned earlier. And Aaron is Bina. So Aaron is the Hamshocha of the Darg of Moishe Rabbeinu. And explain that's the inyan of the Medrash that we quoted earlier, that Melech HaKovod, the Eibishter, is not just the honorable king. That Melech HaKovod, he is chaylik, he dispenses, he gives kovod, that as the pasuk says, chaylik kovod, another pasuk, chaylik kovod lireyav, the Eibishter gives kovod to those who fear him. This goes on Moishe Rabbeinu. And kovod is the darga of Lamed Beis. It's the Gematria Lamed Beis, 32. What's 32? So 32 are the Lamed Nesivos Chochma, the 32 piles of Chachma mentioned in Sefer Yetzirah. You mentioned number 32, amongst other things, has to do with the 10 Sfiris, the 22 letters of the Aleph base. But that's all the of what Lamed Beis Nesivos Chachma, that's the of what the Moishe Rabbeinu. Yam Shocher is through Aaron, that's the first hay of Yud Kivavke. So Aaron is required in all the levels of Amshacha to the people and also to Paroi. That Paroi is the one that is Megala, the inyan of Moishe Rabbeinu. Now, Ois Zayin. Yeah, you got it? Yesh lo Hosef Ois Zayin. Bebior, inyan there in the Satich Elikim the Paroi Dafke. So why is it when it comes to Paroi, so the Eibishter, we also explained this diuk, that isn't Moishe Rabbeinu already at the level of Shem Elikim, as it were, so the whole beard of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe, that Dafka the Neshama Lamata, that's where this level is revealed, not Lamaila. Lamaila, it's Kelim Datzilus, Mashenkin Lamata, Eirav Atzilus. The two Taichin and Shemus, without repeating that whole beard again. The question is here, so why Dafka Paroi when he encounters Paroi? Shayini the Nesatich Elikim, that the Etzem on the Sham, as it were, relatively speaking, is revealed, or B'shaychas the Shviris clip is Paroi, is in connection with breaking the clip of Paroi. Very interesting question coming to L'ched in moving. You have to have this high Meidike Darge to explaining here, which is the Eir of Atzilus, and that's Atzilus HaProtis, and Atzilus HaKlolis. We're talking the Ispashtus Eir Lifnei HaTzimtzum. That's what's required to break Paroi. Harigam Mitzat Seder Shtalshalus. Surely even Seder Shtalshalus, which means what's right and what's wrong. Pashat the Cheshbon of Bezdin Shemaila, Yesh B'Keichem Shel Tzadikim, Moishe Levatelis Rashoim Paroi. Just from Seder Shtalshalus. Surely Tzaddikim have the power to mevatel parei. Why is it critical to draw this most transcendent neshama l'neshama, atzilus aprotis, atzilus aklolis, in order to break parei? Shouldn't take that much of an edge over him. Just a little bit in Seder Ishtalshalos, a little bit of kedusha, a little bit even clearer, just from a perspective of decency, of what's right and what's wrong. Moishe Rabbeinu should be able to break parei. He's the good guy and he's the bad guy in the story. Yeah, so why does it need to these transcendent levels beyond the shtalshalos? Because tzaddikim come from tikkun. Tikkun basically, in general, is atzilus. It means shtalshalos, the highest levels. For HACHODESH, nefashis harashoyim, mepchinas ha'toyosh b'shenafal b'shvir. But the Moishe is that the source of the Rishoyim of Esau, starting there, is from Toyo, which fell in the Shviras HaKelim, in other words, a higher source. But Toyo kodam the Tikkun, Toyo was higher than Tikkun. Likewise, in Avodas Adam, each person. Is literally his complaint is first. Nefesh is only revealed in the person that bar mitzvah. So what does he contend with first? The Nefesh Bahamis. He gets the first. He presents first. The fact that he presents first comes before Kodam means he's from a higher level. Shabol or the Mishosh and right away. It's a person that's born Nefesh Bahamis. We're born selfish creatures. Hashenken, it's Galas Nefesh Kshanasa Ben Yugin Mushana. Al-Tebbe says in Tanya that the Nefesh is only revealed when a person's 13 or 12. So he comes to Mahaya. It's one of the reasons Al-Tebbe in Tanya also speaks Nefesh Bahamis first, and Perek Beis Nefesh Hashem is Yisrael. You should speak of the Neshama first, but the simple answer is that's to say that. And the deeper answer is also because the Shodesh Nefesh Bahamis is higher. Yav became nonetheless so. Oh, if we're talking about the source, which is higher, so how could Nefesh Elikis overpower it? Comes from a higher source. Corrupted, obviously, but the energy, the source is greater. Yav became nonetheless yes. Nefesh Elikis lilchim Nefesh Bahamis is gaber all of chulu. Nefesh Elikis has the power to wage war and defeat him, overpower him. If not for the Eibush helping him, a person will not be able to overcome the Yitzhahara. We get the koiches. That's the rein, the saticha elikim lepari. I'm granting this to you, says the Eibush. Finally, shenit and koich lang Nefesh Elikis, and Nefesh Elikis gets the koich, doesn't have it the Maila, doesn't need it. Maila is tikkun, it's a nice boy, everything is fine. But coming down into Elam HAZEH and dealing with the power Yitzhahara, so then Nefesh Elikis mipchinas Shema. The Nefesh Elikis himself comes from Shema. If you look at the page, also I made it. It's over there on your thing there, just to remind you that the different Shemas. So what's Shema? The Miloi is the Aleph. Aleph is the middle, is the Miloi, the filling that is literally. And what does it render? If you spell Yutke, Vovke, Hey Aleph, and Vov Aleph, and Hey Aleph, Yud is always constant, Yud Vov Dalet. But it's the Hey Vov Hey that have different ways of spelling out. So Shema is 45. And what's that? What is that? It's the Aleph. The Aleph is the inyan of what? Of Zoh. So Nefesh Elikis, where it comes from, where its Shodesh is Shema. Let's continue. The Vard is Nefesh Bahamis. So the Koyach to elevate Nefesh Bahamis. After Shem B'china Shem Sag. So go up one level. Shem Sag is what? Bina. What's the Mili? The Mili there is Yud and Aleph, a combination. You can see, hey, Yud, but the Vav is Vav, Aleph, Vav, as opposed to Shem Ab, which is Vav, Yud, Vav. And then the Hey is Hey, Yud again. So that's 63, Samach Gimel. So what's that Indian? So the Mili of Yud and Aleph, that's Bina. Without going into the whole explanation, we once looked at this. At any rate, what we're getting is, that's the point here, that the Shabbat has a higher HACHODESH. Shulam Alim Shema Shem Sag is higher than Shemba. What are the numbers? 63, 45. So where does the Shema Bina? I'm sorry. The Neveshali Kiss get the Koyach mitzad Shorsha Mibchin Hashem Ab Shalom Alim Mikulam. So what Abish says, it's all in the world of Shemus over here. So the Neveshali Kiss is granted the Koyach drawing on Sheba. Right, that's the first one with the Milo Yeshem Yu. That's Chachma. You mean here Pnimis Chachma. And from there, the Neveshali Kiss gets the Koyach to overcome and elevate Nevesh Bahamis. Drawing on Shem Ab, which is the Atzmis Dekishem, the highest expression of Yud Kevavke. So he doesn't go into details, he just tells us, but my mother shall can bring in maskil Eison Hazrachi. So Eison Hazrachi, Eitan means old and means also rock that is unbreakable. This is the Etzem Neshama that is revealed, maskil Kecha maskil, which is revealed to the Neshama Dafkel when it comes down the mat. So we need this Dafkel for Paroi, a lesser clip. Perhaps not, but Paroi, which is elsewhere brought down in doesn't bring it here. His Perira called the Hayri, and his Shodesh is extremely high. All the lights are peeled back or revealed. So to overcome Paroi, you need to have this empowerment of, in the end he says Yeshem Ab. So let's continue. This is where that which Tikkun, which is a lower level, has the power in the end to elevate that which comes from yet a higher source. Now comes a very meditative word. And we'll see the sources for this. However, this koyach, the tikkun, can overcome toyo, kedusha, or can overcome the source of klippe. That only can happen. This is further elaboration now. When can Kedusha overcome? It's when we take the nitzutzim bit by bit in a Seder Mesudar. Like the pasuk says, "Ma'at agarsheno," referring to the nations occupied the land of Israel. That slowly I will drive them out. Sof kosof nigmar v'nishma birur until they're completely refined. Shezeh ma'imud the matzav the losid lovoi. That's going to be in the future. The whole world will be suffused with the likus. That all flesh will see. However, but to destroy them literally, when they're still in their full force, they haven't been completely refined, which is an elaborate process. And they haven't been yet elevated. And to bring them down, tzadikim can't do that. Only the Eibush himself. And this is what Eov, all the suffering that he had. Need to see the pasuk. Someone look it up. Please, 58, Eov Mem Tes. Please, thank you. Give the general idea about it. Hey, I also have a phone. I'm sorry, I couldn't click myself. Okay, I'll get it. You have what? 40? 40. What pasuk? Tes. Okay. Vim zroya ke'el loch. Do you have an arm like God? Ubekel kamoy tarim. Do you thunder like him with your voice? Pasuk Yud. Eidon lo go'in v'goiva. Bedeck yourself. Yeah, it does like a treasure. Does jewelry. Bedeck yourself now with pride and excellence. V'hoid v'hoda tilbash, and clothe yourself with glory and beauty. Pasuk Yud Aleph. Hafetz every sapecha, scatter your raging anger. Or a call geya, and see any haughty person. V'hashpilehu, and humble him. Pasuk Yud Beis. Continuing your ekol geya achneeyo, see any haughty man and subdue him. V'hadoich, hadoich is to crush. V'shoyim tachtom, and crush the wicked in their place. So what do we see from here? Do you have an arm like God? That's the whole thing begins. You can't. It's got to be granted to you. The haughty man, that's Paroi, the arrogance of Paroi. In order to crush him, you'll need divine assistance, referring even to the tzaddik, Iyov. So what's he saying? Let's go back to the pasuk. Pardon? So he just quoted the pasuk here. So shekadei haino shekadei levatl zaklipa. In order to neutralize the klipa, kifisha b'shlei musa b'tokfa, where klipa is in its height and its power, kaitim abirah, before the birah, which is a whole process, lat la'at, slowly. So mine with the matzav the go, like he says in the pasuk, where you see the arrogant, that's Paroi, reikol govash pilor, see every arrogant man, then bring him down. That Iyov was facing them with all of the terrible tests that he had. So for this, do you have an arm like God? You don't. So for this rhetorical question, we need Zroya Ka'el. This is further elaboration. There's two things that apparently he's saying now. First, he says that in order to overcome, the question was, you need to have such a meridic madrega to overcome Paroi. So number one, why not say the shtalshalus? So the first thing is the sheiresh of Paroi. The sheiresh of Paroi is tohu. And therefore, in order to overcome, so you have to have, he says the words, and that is the amshacha from Shem Ab. Now that sounds like, because he adds a umno. We said till now the keich of Shem Ab, that is b'chlal. That is the avodah of la'at la'at. You still don't need the keich nesatich lekim leparoi. That's not that. That's the standard keiches. It's given to every neshama to overcome his yitzhahada in the daily battle. Here we don't have that luxury. Here it's not a step-by-step refinement. Here it's Paroi at its height, and it's got to be now going out of Mitzrayim. So for that, you need this is an addition. Sounds like it's an addition to the general Nisan Askoyach that's given to the Neshama Lamata. Masking Leisan Azrachi. Here's a special Nisan Askoyach that even the tzaddik needs to overcome Paroi at his height and his glory, before the birur, before he's finally in this body, which is a process that only culminates when Mashiach comes. This is very early on. That's what he's saying, I think. So let's continue. So that you need is Zroya Ka'el, it's like made you a likim lepari. What's the diuk? The pari oisies oiref. Oiref, same letters of the word oiref. Oiref is the back, the nape of the neck, as opposed to the what? The throat of the neck. The throat of the neck is the pnimius, which connects moichin to midas. That's the front. At the back is the hinder part. What is that? Shinikos mipchinas oiref the arach anpin. That's where Paroi is lodged. His unique is on the the hinder part of Arich Anpin. Arich Anpin, of course, is what is the Rotz and the Alien. And Paro gets his unique from the chitzonius of the Rotz and the Alien, in the face of which everything, all is equal. It's a level that Haman was trying to exploit, that everything is equally insignificant. That's where Paro gets his unique, which is why he has his koyach. An example Chassidus brings us that a spider in the hand is grasped. Shmom means, remember, b'yadecha, b'yadayim titfos. V'hi beheich le'amelech. But in the king's palace, the spider is there and casts her web, and nobody even notices. Why? Because of the roimamus of the palace. She's not even noticed. That's the chitzonius adotz. So the chitzonius adotz, and there's place equally for Klippa. So that's where Paro gets his unique. That's the oyed of Darach Anpin. It means the chitzonius of the Rotz. The Rotzen is bligvul. What the Pnimis HaRotzen is, I know I dafka want this and I don't want that. That's the Pnimis HaRotzen is dafka kedusha, agbola, mitzvahs and not averis, Mordechai not Haman. Mitzat chitzonius HaRotzen, bligvul per se. That's the chiddush. The Eibush was boicher. But mitzat chitzonius HaRotzen, the Eibush's Rotzen is bligvul and all is equal. And that's where Paro has his unique. So Zeh show you klippa kosher. It's a tremendous klippa because what's he drawing on the keich bligvul. To break such a level, the whole kavan is that Mitzrayim should know that I am Hashem. Yoda means to break. So this brings this kamei. The whole story that Anshi Sukkos then will be broken. Story there in where is it? In LOCHEM. While they're still in there, so to break Paro, not the biro slowly turn him around, but just break him, which goes to his shore, his source. So so this, even the tzaddik needs the Eibishter himself. He's given the koyach to break Paro even in the height of his power. And that is Atzmos Ein Sof. And this comes from Atzmos Ein Sof. Ani al gabecha. The koyach is a nitn l'Moshe. That's given to Moshe. It's HaTsich Elikim. I've given this to you. Koyach l'gambchnes Elikecha Anoichi. As we said before, that Ni al gabach, all of these dargas are granted to the Yid to overcome Paro, the height of his koyach was drawing on the most transcendent levels of likus. All of the levels we explained earlier. Not just the Eir of Atzilis, but the Etzema. I'm sorry. Eir of Atzilis is dark to begin with. Not just Atik the Ak, that's Torah Eir. So Eir Torah. But even the Etzema, the Alter Rebbe, the second Taichin, Atzilis Aklolis, the higher Pirush. As we said before, this is given Elikecha, which means Alika Shelcha Daik, which means your koiches. Alika means koiches pnimiyim, that you are granted this in order to break Paro. Was there Yuvan? Yeah, kind of clear. Yeah. So Yuvan Maimar Ashbi. So let's understand the statement of the Gemara in Brochus. It's a whole discussion there of whether or not in Zman HaGolos a Yid could antagonize in any way to show him or just lay low. So the Rashbi says, Tzadik Gomor mutar l'Gazgaras b'Rishon be'Olam Hazeh. He said that Tzadik Gomor can confront the Rishonim in this world. I feel the discussion is b'kasheh Hashem mesachekes lo, literally when the time is smiling to him when he's at his height. Or and write it out. So he says the average person, don't antagonize, but a tzaddik gomo can. Why? Because that's the darg of Moishe Rabbeinu. Because it says in Kabbalah, Kirashbi Nitzitz Moishe. Rashbi is a Nitzitz of Moishe Rabbeinu. Not Israel. And therefore, you can bring down the Rishoyim even at the height of their force. Even sheyesh boya koich madreges Moishe, because in him is the koich of Moishe. Shene'amar loyin is hatich lekim lepara. That's why the other Tanoim said otherwise, but he said you can. Why dafke him? Because he's a nitzitz of Moishe. The Inyan Zen is Galit the Aaron dafke, and this is revealed through Aaron. Sheza Inyan v'Aaron achicha yin v'yecha. Aaron, your brother, will be your mouthpiece. Sh'Aaron ha'megalis b'chinas Moishe. Now Sivov. The Rebbe is hinting, and not hinting, saying outright that it's the koyach now that before Mashiach comes, that there's no clipper that can stand in the way. Even Pare. You got to be Aaron. Like Aaron devoted, Moshe Rabbeinu is devoted chassid. Number one. So this is going back to the Charlotte's beginning of the Maimer. The Eibush spoke to Moshe and Aaron in Eretz Mitzrayim, and he said, HACHODESH LOCHEM, the Shiloh was the extremes here. In Eretz Mitzrayim, Tachlis HaKlippe, HACHODESH LOCHEM, hide in Ishtalshalus. As explained from the Medrash, the Eibush chose his world. He chose that there should be the union of Chadoshim, of months, and then when he chose Yidden, that Chodesh, since Yidden were redeemed in this month, this should be the first month. This is all pre-creation. And where is it happening? In Mitzrayim. And who's he talking to? Moshe and Aaron together. Because this is what's required here. When was this Dibur said Mitzrayim? Not just in the time of Golos Mitzrayim. But even at Mitzrayim, it's in the place. It said when Mitzrayim is at its height, nonetheless, there the Eibush says close, and in Yitzias Mitzrayim, this sets in motion the whole Yitzias Mitzrayim. Transcending all the limits even of Sefer Shtalshel, Shazagin, Diklalim, Melech, Malchem, Lochem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Golom. The Eibush did himself higher than all on the level of Malach, like no, beyond all the levels of Shtalshelus. For who and why? The fish in the Saticha, Lekim, Lepare. Because the Eibush grants him this level. This is given to Moshe to break Para in Mitzrayim at the height of its power. And since the revelation, the expression of this is through Aaron, because of Aaron, will be your mouthpiece. Therefore, the whole point is it's got to be revealed. So right here and now, it's got to be said to Moshe and Aaron together. It's a team. Not just to Moshe, Aaron dafke. But the Moshe and Aaron dafke and so on. Every generation it's a Moshe Rabbeinu shebedoir by Moshe shebedoir. So the Moshe b'chol dar, as the Zohar says, that there's the spreading literally of Moshe in every generation. Sheyesh etzla yindin asaticha lekim lepare. That Moshe Rabbeinu was given this koyach to bring pare down. Shenitn le'akoyach lifel shviras haklippus. He's given the koyches vache nase gila de kus b'chol elam kolei. So much so that this will bring about the revelation of godliness in the whole world. The Kvedavaya, again, that's the Ark of Moishe Rabbeinu covered, Lama based on Sivas Chachma. So this will be revealed, and all flesh will see, and so on. Kipi Hashem Diber. Okay, let me just look at the beginning of the Pesach Dover, just to get our Teichen and Yonim to get the flow. I'll just read it to you. The Madrega of Moishe Rabbeinu is Neshama Datzilis. What's Atzilus? Atzilus is this opposite. The one that it's only a ha'ora, a reflection of the Maitzel, but it's a dvekus nikeres, it's close. That's even though Atzilus is post Tzimtzum, but the Kav is rooted in the Igul Agod Lifnei Tzimtzum, so therefore the dvekus remains. In other words, notwithstanding that Atzilus is Esesviris and Olam Atzilus, not lost on Atzilus is this is the Eibishter revealing himself through 10 Sviris. It's a dvekus nikeres. The Esses Sviris of Atzilus do not draw attention to themselves as wonderful virtues. Oh, Chachma, Bina, Chesed. It's the Eibishter expressing himself. That's what dvekus nikeres means. So this is the Madrega of Moishe. Then the Atzilus HaKlolis, even higher. Then he explains the Medrash HaKadosh Baruch Hu called Moishe b'Shmoi that Rein Satich Elokim leParoi. This is the Melech HaKovid that he allows others to be called by his name. What does that mean? In the end, that even though the neshamas really come, the direct sources, as his Tanya, from the Kelim of Atzilus, but Rein Satich Elokim, he's given the koyach to get to even to what? The Oires, that's the Shemus, according to the Alter Rebbe, which is Dvekus Nikeres. And then he goes on to say, not only Atzilas HaProtis, but even Atzilas HaKlolis. What's Ani Gabach, that is the Etzemer that's granted to him. Ani al Gabach. So this is Atzilas HaKlolis, even that level is given to Moishe Rabbeinu. And why? Because that's what's needed to bring down Paroi. Because Paroi, when his shleimus and his height, before he's totally refined, it's only B'koyach HaAtzmos. And the gilui of this is through Aaron Dafke, Aaron V'yecha, both to Yidden and also B'negel to Paroi. And as he concludes, and this koyach is given to the Moishe Rabbeinu in every generation. Okay, that was like broad brushstrokes overview of the Maimon. Beis Hashem tomorrow. Now there's two Maimorim that Rebbe said in the Fabrengen of Vidal of ניסן. Tashun Chav Beis. There was a big Meridige Fabrengen, the Rebbe's 60th year. They told you two Mugidige Sichas out of that Fabrengen, two Maimorim. If the Rebbe had to justify why he's making a Fabrengen, birthday party, I can't understand why there was such a chiddush. I remember as a kid, people were making fun of it. Birthday parties. We ever heard of such a thing? We ever heard of birthdays? We ever heard of birthdays? No one even, no, yard sites, but not birthdays. No one even knew their birthdays. You had to know it for bar mitzvah. Okay, you had to know. But then it was forgotten. It was a birthday. And here they were starting this whole student with a birthday. It started later, really, but then already that first Fabrengen. So he gave a whole sicha. Rabbi Yosef, when he turned 60, he made a Yom Tova D'Rabbanan. So look at the sicha, it's a whole Meredith beard. Because justifying why he did it. And then it was forgotten after that. For a long time, kind of receded. The whole Yidal of ניסן thing. Until it was resurrected by Chassidim. Meir Halik, no less. Started making his student later, Yidal of ניסן, and it became Shnas HaShiv, Shnas HaShminim. I remember as a child also, the Yidal of ניסן Fabrengens were not public, even Chassidim, a few Chassidim got together and Fabreng. It wasn't a public thing for the community to be invited to, it wasn't announced, but then it became. Okay, so there's two Maimorim. The Rebbe said, I want to learn the second one. The second one first. The second one is a direct response to all the brachas that people gave. Amen. Well, when the answer is Amen, it's greater than the Mevarech. Clearly, it was a response to the brachas of people giving the Aleph ניסן. And then we'll have time, we'll learn the first one, Achrei Moishe. Then there's Avodah Mayinu. The Rebbe said a Maimer, a Pesach night that year. Such a hemshech to this Maimer. Direct hemshech to this one. Okay, so Be'ez Hashem tomorrow, we will begin that.